USF Housing Live is a weekly live show that we produce and stream through YouTube, Facebook, and in our USF class groups for our incoming first-year students. It's a way to answer their questions live on the air so we can engage with a mass audience, but also show off everything about the University of South Florida. It's a great way to prepare them for their experience here. These are 20 to 25-minute episodes, and they're every single week, every Wednesday at 7. USF Housing Live is set up with two main periods, and so the focus of the first half of Housing Live is really promotional, showing off all the great things about USF, about living here on campus, of why you'd want to live on campus here, of why you'd want to even choose USF to be your school. After May 1st, everything changes gears to be about transition, and so every episode is focused on the students' needs to get you ready for your first semester here at USF. A lot of students nowadays are using social media. Just about everyone's on social media in some way. USF students also, they have very high expectations, and I like that because it's challenging for me, it's challenging for my team to say they have high expectations of us. We want to be visible, we want to be present, and we want to be responsive. USF Housing Live is exactly that. Students should watch the show because it's all about them and every piece of information is for them. And so this is a student-produced show for USF students. And so I want students to watch every episode, whether they're an incoming student or a current student, because it's going to keep them up to date. And so we have a lot of fun. We do it very quickly, just 20 to 25 minutes once a week. But in that period of time, they're going to learn something new, and they're going to have the opportunity to speak with the staff, with the administration, with their peers, and learn something new that way too. They get to engage with it. How many times can you say you watch a television show and you can type in the comments and the host of the show will then answer you about a minute later? That doesn't really happen. With USF Housing Live, it does happen. It's a mass audience approach, but with a personal touch. They can reach out to us directly while we're live on the air, and that's pretty cool. What do parents get out of it? Well, this is something that's aimed at the whole family. And so we want parents to watch because this is going to inform them about what the experience will be like for their child. And parents want to know what resources are available. They're going to remember, in some cases, more than the students will, about certain resources, certain offices, certain involvement opportunities. And so they're in it with their students. I am so proud about USF Housing Live's ability to connect with a diverse audience around the world. We've had over 50 countries watch the show. Imagine being an international student and you're not going to set foot on campus until orientation day. But if you watch USF Housing Live, we take you there. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty powerful. And I hope that everyone watching this tunes in every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Go Bulls.
Gregory Bowers, Sierra Rose, Maxwell Morinelli, Elysa Goldberg, Nyrene Naomi, Courtney Cadogan, Geraldine Paredes, June Dickens, Jeremy Lamberti, Taylor Finke, Kayla Williams, Burley Gomez, Chris Herrera, Stephanie Jockman. Wednesday, June 20th, 2018. Coming to you from the beautiful University of South Florida campus in Tampa, it's USF Housing Live!
Welcome everyone. This is USF Housing Live. I'm your host, Gregory Bowers with Housing and Residential Education at the beautiful University of South Florida in Tampa. Our motto, best place to live, best place to work, best place to learn. Tonight's episode is Pick a Major, Any Major. A reminder to everyone joining us live that we are here to answer your questions so you are ready to live the Bulls life. If you have a question, no matter where or how you are watching, just type it in the comments and we will answer you in real time. Let's go ahead and meet tonight's guests. Joining us is a member of our own communications and marketing team who specializes in social media engagement, is an administrator of the USF Class of 2022 Facebook group, a talented member of Girls Next Chord a cappella group, formerly known as Rocky's Angels, and a current undergraduate student studying mass communications with a focus in public relations. Courtney, Cadogan. Welcome, Courtney. Wow, what a mouthful. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, Greg. It's great to be here.
It's good to have you here. And I got to share a fun fact about Courtney. She's normally in our work studio pulling together live questions and sending them to me right here on the set. Courtney also takes care of my makeup because, like everything else in my life, I have no idea what I'm doing. So, Courtney, I'm so excited to have you here. And welcome to the front of the camera.
Thank you.
And we're going to be speaking with Courtney in a moment. Of course, if you have any questions for Courtney, just let us know. But our first guest has earned a master's degree in education with a concentration in college student affairs right here at the University of South Florida. She currently serves as coordinator for academic initiatives in residential education. She has presented her work with the USF Residential Curriculum and Living Learning Community Program nationally and serves on local and national committees that strive to enhance student learning and development within residential settings on college campuses. She never stops learning and is currently working toward her MBA. Welcome to the program, Olivia Moon.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm happy to have you here, Olivia. Are you ready for some questions?
I am.
All right, I want to remind everyone watching, if you have a question, type it in the comments and I'll answer you right here in real time. So Olivia, tell us a little bit more about what it is you do here.
So I am one of the coordinators for academic initiatives in residential education. So what I do is I work with our faculty who live on campus and also our faculty and staff partners at USF. I work with our 14 living learning communities and also our annual academic initiatives for students who live on campus.
And so Summer B is right around the corner. And so what academic initiatives are going to be happening for these students?
So this is exciting because this is actually the first summer that we have piloted some of our academic initiatives for Summer B residents. So the first thing we have coming up will be on July 13th, and that is a field trip with some of our faculty. And we'll be taking students to the Dolly Museum and also the Tampa Theater. So if you're interested, you can email us at livinglearning@usf.edu and we can definitely get you signed up. The other thing we have piloted is Faculty Fellow Fridays. So we will offer the opportunity for a select number of students to have lunch or dinner with some of our faculty in the dining halls and kind of have little table talk conversations in an intimate setting with them. And we also have a number of other events that we've partnered with New Student Connections, Wellness, and Financial Aid for the first 50 days of summer. So if you're interested in that, you can definitely pick up a brochure this Friday during move-in.
All right, that's excellent. And so our Summer B folks know move-in is this Friday in the Juniper Poplar lobby. Just go to usf.edu/housing. Right in the announcement sections, you'll see there's an information link right there. It says summer arrival information. So click on that. Everything you need to know is right there on our website at usf.edu/housing. So we talked about Summer B, Olivia. What's happening in the fall?
So in the fall, we also have a number of initiatives for students and residents to get involved in that center around academics. So the first thing we have is house calls on September 12th. And we bring faculty, administrators, academic advisors, actually into the residence halls to sit on panels and maybe eat some ice cream or interact with students, answer some questions in an informal setting outside of the classroom, make it a little bit more comfortable for students who are joining us. The second thing we have is an out-of-state student social, which will be on October 2nd. So we will invite any resident who is joining us at USF out of state from their home state to kind of build connections with other out-of-state students and then really build their foundation at USF. And we're hoping to get them welcomed into our USF family and make them feel comfortable for the rest of their time here.
That's awesome. Great opportunity for out-of-state students there. And so we have this term faculty in residence. We talk about a lot. We have faculty in the residence halls. Tell us more about what that means when we say faculty in residence.
So we actually do have faculty who live in the halls, which is very interesting because I never had that when I was living in college on campus. And so next year we will have 6 faculty that will live with us in an apartment within our residential communities. So they will be in Horizon, in Summit, in Beta, Maple, Magnolia, and in Poplar Hall.
That's awesome. And so faculty in residence, just to remind you folks, we're a very large school here, and this is a way to make a large campus much smaller and more manageable because this is an opportunity for students to get to know a faculty member one-on-one, right?
Yeah, definitely. So our faculty and residents, we give them a meal plan, so they will actually eat in the dining halls, and they're always open to sharing meals with students and interacting with them in that setting. Or they'll, some of them have actually children that live with them on campus, so they will roam around the halls, pass out snacks, talk to students informally as they're walking by. And then they also have a variety of programs that residents can join, like Dr. Mackay puts on a star party, so he'll bring out his telescopes and students can look at constellations or the solar systems. He'll answer any questions that they might have. So really different, neat opportunities to engage with faculty outside of the classroom.
That is very cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. And so I got a note about you here. I hear you're a volunteer wellness coach here on campus. And so what does wellness coaching provide our students?
Yeah, so in wellness coaching, we meet with students one-on-one to discuss any sort of wellness goals holistically. So that can be anything from academic goals, stress management, time management, maybe it's navigating different social settings as they enter college. And so what we do is we develop a wellness plan with specialized strategies that the students come up with themselves to kind of get them on track with their goals. And we'll meet with them from anywhere to 3 to 5 sessions, or even beyond that if they continue to set goals for themselves that they want to hit, and we're always willing to support them and help them set strategies for themselves.
That's awesome. And so for all of you watching, that's an above and beyond thing. That's not part of Olivia's job. And so Olivia, thank you so much for providing that service to our students.
You're welcome.
Olivia, got another question here for you. What are some of the most needed academic resources that are available specifically for our first-year students?
So the biggest thing, I know first-year students meet with academic advisors at orientation to get their preliminary schedule, but I think I would suggest that they meet with them maybe once or twice throughout the rest of their first semester here, because, you know, they might change what they want to do with their career path, or not necessarily know what classes to sign up for during registration, or even know how to sign up for classes. So I would definitely suggest meeting with an academic advisor just to really set that foundation and make sure students are on track for graduation for the next 4 years. Another big one is the Academic Success Center, and that is on the 2nd floor of the library. So they offer a variety of tutoring resources and then also help with writing papers for classes as well.
All right, excellent. So we want each and every student here to be successful academically, especially that first semester. It's so important. What tips do you have for students to help make that happen?
The biggest tip I have from the beginning is really setting a foundation for time management and a schedule that students can follow for the rest of their semester. So if you think about it, students are typically going from high school where they're in class 7 hours a day, every single day, to coming to a college setting where they're maybe in class 12 hours a week. So it seems like, you know, there's a lot of free time sprinkled in there, but that time can get eaten up very quickly if you're spending time with friends or studying, or maybe joining a student organization or watching Netflix or whatever that is. So I would really suggest just blocking out that free time to really hone in on specific classes that you're doing work for, scheduling out your time to do leisure activities or spend time with friends, and then also remembering to build in some relaxing time for yourself, as sometimes throughout the semester with midterms and finals, things can get a little bit stressful. Another tip, a big tip I have for any student, is don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. So there's a lot of different people on this campus who are willing and able to help you. So if you ever have any questions or needs, you can really ask, I think, any professional on this campus, and they will, if they can't help you, then they'll be able to steer you in the direction of someone who can.
Excellent. That's great advice, Olivia. Thank you so much. And of course, I got to mention, there is the USF Class of 2022 Facebook group. Some of you might be there right now. If you're not, USF Class of 2022. Search it in Facebook or go to usf.edu/housing, and the link is right there on our homepage. Experts are there. No one sleeps 24 hours a day where they're answering your questions. Now, folks, it is time for us to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. This video is about final review sessions. I know it's a little early, but you're going to want to know about this because it's going to be very helpful when it gets to that point in that first semester. You don't want to miss it. We will be back with more USF Housing Live right after this.
Hey Bulls! Catch up on episodes you may have missed and see what's coming up by visiting usf.edu/housing. Select About Us, then USF Housing Live. Choose an episode and get ready to live the Bulls life.
So final reviews take place at the end of every fall and spring semester, the week before final exams. And we invite professors or faculty members to come to the Marshall Student Center and give a last exam review before their final exam. Students can interact with their professors, maybe they haven't gotten a chance to do so earlier on in the semester, or, you know, they can maybe see some things that they didn't know we're going to be on the final exam, get some last minute help, or even some insight as to what they can expect.
I'm Kimberly Fields, and I teach organic chemistry in the chemistry department here. We take each chapter by about 15 minutes a block, and we just power through the top topics in each chapter, and I sort of explain the highlights and why they're important one more time.
So for the stress of final exam week, I think there's a lot of different resources on campus. Pause and relax. They brought dogs and llamas for students to come pet and play with to kind of relieve some of that anxiety or stress. I would say within the residence halls, a lot of the RAs will plan study events for their residents. So I think students should attend a final review session because any extra opportunity to help you practice for an exam is a good thing.
Ace those final exams.
Welcome back, everyone. This is USF Housing Live. I'm Gregory Bowers. You're not, and it's time to chat with Courtney Cadogan. Courtney, tell us, what do you do here at USF?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a full-time student here. I'm studying mass communications with a focus in PR, and I'm actually going into my senior year this year. It's crazy. But when I'm not at school, I'm probably at work here for housing and residential education, and I work as a PR assistant.
Awesome. And thank you, by the way, for your service. All these Housing Lives, Courtney's behind the scenes getting the questions to us, but now you get to be in front of the camera.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, Courtney, you got to tell me a little bit more about how you're involved on campus outside of your job.
Okay, yeah, well, the one way that I stay involved on campus the most is through my all-women a cappella group. It's called Girls Next Chord. It was originally known as Rocky's Angels. And we meet every week and we sing together, and we've really formed this sisterhood, this bond where we get together every week and we get to talk to each other about, you know, different stresses we're going through in classes and different things like that. And it's really a great way to meet people because we get to bond over one thing we love, and that's music. Besides that, I also really enjoy going to the sporting events on campus and off campus at Raymond James. We go to football games, basketball games, baseball, all that kind of stuff with friends, and that's a great way to stay on campus. But honestly, I love it here because there's so many times where I've been like, oh, what should I do today? And I never have to worry about, oh, I'm going to be bored today. Like, there is always an event on campus going on. I almost have to like pick and choose my favorites.
Awesome. And it's cool to hear that about your organization where you're singing, but it sounds like there's so much more that it goes deeper than that.
Definitely. We've formed a really great friendship and sisterhood through it. I definitely highly recommend joining an organization when you come to campus. It's a great way to meet people and meet really good lifelong friends.
Awesome. And we got a live question here. I think I got this one, but feel free to jump in, Courtney. Tori would like to know, and the question is, I was hoping to hear updates on the Publix. We will be sharing some more updates at the end of the show, Tori, and wants to know, as part of today's show, will there be any employee parking? Tori, I don't know about employee parking at the Publix. I don't know about any USF parking at the Publix. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Publix parking. And so I don't know how that's going to be managed eventually, but I just recommend if you're planning your parking ahead, don't plan on parking at the Publix and going to class. When you get back, your car might not be there. So I don't really know that's where you want to go with that. But I did get a comment for our director over here. Great video and graphic work, by the way. So thank you very much to our production crew over there. And so that's really good to hear. So we really appreciate that. And definitely thanks for joining us. I'll have more updates at the end of this program. So stay with us. Now, Courtney, I want to ask you a little bit about the transitions. We talk about it all the time. It's a big transition coming from high school to college. What was it like for you?
Yeah, my transition was actually typically not the norm. I had a really great transition, and that's probably because I had a lot of people there to support me. But there's a lot of students that have difficulty with that transition. It can be really difficult coming from high school into college, especially considering what major you're choosing. But the great thing about it is if you are having difficulty, if you're struggling in a class or something like that, there's always somebody on campus that will be willing to help you. There's teachers that are right here that are always willing to make appointments with you, or they have office hours. There's so many great ways to make that transition so much easier when you come here.
All right, excellent. So I got to ask you, why did you live on campus? Because you did live on campus a couple of years. What was it like? What brought you here?
Yeah, I lived on campus for 2 years. First, I lived in suite style, and then I lived in apartment style. And it was a great choice for me. The first reason that I really loved living on campus was because I literally lived within like 15-minute walking distance of all my classes. And for being someone like me who is not a morning person, I hate waking up in the morning. It was awesome to be able to just roll out of bed and walk straight to class and not have to worry about how long my commute was going to take or if there was going to be traffic or anything like that. That was the first reason. The second reason was I was really looking forward to having that roommate experience, actually. I have an older brother, but he's 10 years older than me, so I kind of grew up like an only child. And for the first time ever, I got to come to college and feel what it was like to actually kind of like have a sister. And it was a great way to learn how to compromise and how to communicate properly. And it was always like having a friend always there whenever you needed one.
That's really cool to hear about. I got to be honest, sometimes I hear folks freak out about a roommate because they're like, I've never had a roommate. I don't want a roommate. I'm scared. I'm upset. I don't want this. What do you say to those students freaking out about the roommate experience?
To be honest with you, if you're freaking out about having a roommate right now, you're probably gonna look back next year and be like, wow, I'm so glad I had a roommate, because you're always gonna have somebody there to go to dinner with, to talk to when you're stressed, and there's just always gonna be that friend right next to your bed, right next to you. It's awesome.
That's cool. It's great to have that person right there with you. And so something I want to mention, because obviously we're talking about all the things that happen here on campus and living on campus, but so folks know, we're a nonprofit auxiliary operation of the University of South Florida, and what's most important to us is serving our students and supporting their academic success. National research shows that students who live on campus for at least 1 year graduate at higher rates and sooner than those students who do not. We never have enough space for our students that want to live here on campus with us, but so everyone knows that's where we're coming from. We're actually not for profit. It's not about making money. It's about serving students. The metrics we look at to actually judge our success all has to do with serving students. How many students return for their second semester, for their second year? What is their GPA? And are they graduating? And are they graduating on time? That is what matters most to us. And we have a question here from Celia, asking about rates. There have been an increase in the rent and the rates, and why is it that happens? And so a reminder to folks that we have to pay for things to keep the operation moving. And so as costs go up, it's important that we do keep rates set so that we can afford to keep providing a top-notch residential experience for all of you who live here on campus. And so there are rate increases periodically. It's not every year, but it is normal to expect rate increases over time to match those costs, so we can provide that for you. And so we don't raise rates to any maximum amount. In fact, we keep rates as low as possible, because all we want to do is make sure that we are breaking even to provide the support for all of our residents. That's what it's all about, is administering an excellent residential experience for you. And so question here for you, Courtney. I want to talk about your family for a moment. What was this transition like for them?
I think my parents probably struggle with it a little bit more than they'd like to let on, and I think they actually kind of did that for me, because if I had known that they were struggling with the transition, I think I would have struggled with it more. But they were really strong about it, and honestly, we just really kept connected. You know, I actually am lucky enough to live 45 minutes away from this school, so I got to go home a lot and see them. But honestly, with new inventions like FaceTime, where I can call them at any time, anywhere I want, and actually talk to them face to face, it is so much different coming to college now than it probably was, you know, way back when you had to actually go home and see them. So the transition is not as bad as it's really not that bad. It's not.
Did you have your family with you on move-in day?
Yes, I did.
How'd family do with that? How'd you do with that?
It was not as hard as I actually thought it was going to be. I thought that I'd be crying and all that kind of stuff. And I actually didn't. It was actually kind of cool. They helped me move into my new space. They got to see it, and I knew that I would see them very, very soon. So I was all right.
I love Courtney's take on that, which is like, it was really cool. I had helpers to help me move in. It was nice. You know, free labor. Everyone likes that. So that's great. So another thing I want to ask you about, to reflect on, is relationships. And so many students, this isn't just intimate relationships, but your friends, the folks that you know in high school, and then you come to college, and I'm curious how any of that may have changed for you.
Yeah, so I actually only brought a handful of friends with me from high school. When I got here, I grew so much as a person that, you know, I started to like grow away from certain friendship. I realized what it was like to have a true friend and what it was like to be a true friend in return. And I gained so many good friendships when I started going here. It was awesome. I did keep one really close friend with me though. I started dating my boyfriend in freshman year of high school. And now I'm going into my senior year of college and we're still together. It's been like 6 years. Definitely something that people used to say to me was, oh, don't you want to be single when you come to college? Isn't it going to be fun to date and meet new people? And, you know, I had to kind of think about that and take that advice for like face value. And I realized that I really have to make the right decision for me. And, you know, somebody can give me good advice and I can listen to it with open ears. But at the end of the day, I have to make that decision for me. And that's what I did. And I'm really happy that I did that.
All right, excellent. That's good to hear. And so I think that gentleman is here in the studio, right?
He is here in the studio.
What's his? Oh, is that him over there? Hi, Nick. Hey. So moral support, wherever Courtney goes, we will find Nick nearby. And so I got another question here for you, Courtney, and that's advice for our incoming students. For those who are starting on Friday, it's getting very real. What advice do you have for them?
Right. My advice to you would be to come with open ears and an open heart and just make sure that you're ready to learn and ready to meet new people. You're going to meet people from different backgrounds, different religions, different races, all that kind of thing. And you're going to be able to hear a bunch of different stories from different people. And if you come here open and ready to listen, then you're going to really open yourself up to some amazing experiences. And also, it's going to be really quick. Like, you're coming here, this is going to be your first year in college. Before you turn around, you're going to be approaching your senior year. So make sure that you take advantage of every single opportunity that you have while you're here.
That's great advice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Folks, I want to let you know, if you're a first-time viewer, I want to remind you that we have some exciting things happening here on campus. So first, I got to tell you, Endeavor Hall, Horizon Hall, and Pinnacle Hall will be opening this fall. There is still space available, so visit usf.edu/housing and explore all the options. Pinnacle Hall will be featuring a BurgerFi and Starbucks on the first floor. It's a Starbucks with a lot of extra food options, I've been told. Very cool. And these are going to be open to all students, so get hungry, get thirsty, and check those out. The third option we can't tell you about yet, but there's a third thing coming to Pinnacle Hall as well. There is also a totally new Argos dining facility opening this fall. You want to check out all the information at usfdining.com to learn more about meal plans and dining options on campus. Well, that is just about all the time we have, but before we go, I want to remind you that USF Housing Live airs every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch at facebook.com/USFHousing, the USF Class of 2022 Facebook group, or in full 1080p high definition at youtube.com/USFHousing. USF Housing Live is produced by Housing and Residential Education at the University of South Florida in Tampa. Our motto is best place to live, best place to work, best place to learn. Thank you to tonight's guests, Courtney Cadogan and Olivia Moon, for joining me this evening. Thank you to our production crew, to you, our viewers, and of course, there is always just one last thing. Go Bulls! Good night, everyone!